We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to your live boxing ego unpack. Yeah. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to your live. Let's do this again. When I tell you you should believe me, you ought to do it. I said when I tell you to believe me, you ought to do it. A brand new article comes out. Man, Canelo, Crawford, definitely facing some uncertainties. And if you follow my channel, you should have expected this. But I'm going to take you through it in this video. Your boy like to get unpacked. Notice I'm often imitated, never duplicated. All of a sudden, other people want to get unpacked and break it down. They try, but they not like me. When it comes to this knowledge in this game, I am the best in the business, and it's not even close. So the title of this article, link will be found in the description. Uncertainties reign as Canelo Alvarez. Baby, you want baby? I know that. And Terrence Crawford develops, right? A brand new stinking article by Lance Pugmire. And it's going to be a doozy. The chaotic turns over a fight expected to stand as the most successful of the year, have the boxing industry abuzz as Saul Canelo Alvarez, Terrence Crawford clash currently stands without a U.S. licensed promoter, no official venue, and no broadcaster. Oh, the humanity. Don't say I didn't warn you. Listen again. Canelo Crawford clash currently stands without a U.S. licensed promoter, no official venue, and no broadcaster. Doesn't sound so great to me. Saudi Arabia influencer or financer, whatever it says, Turki Al-Sheikh instructed his publication Ring to announce that Sunday that the bout will indeed move off Friday night to September 12th and shift to September 13th. I've already covered that, made videos, looks pretty stupid and disorganized. Now we just continue to move in that vein. By doing so, initial plans to have UFC CEO Dana White promote his first major boxing pay-per-view card were shuttered as Dana White's UFC already has a pay-per-view scheduled that night for ESPN from Mexico. Man, when I say I'm the best in the business and it's not even close, I think some people think I'm just saying that to gloat, but the proof is in the pudding. This is exactly what I warned you about on the channel. I said, Dana White can't clone himself. He can't be in two places at once. How is that going to work? September 12th, it could have worked because you could have did one fight in Vegas at Allegiant Stadium and then flew to Mexico. That's a doable trip, right? It's not like a 20-hour flight to Saudi Arabia. From Nevada to Mexico, you could do it, right? But then Turkey told Ring, as this article stated, told Ring to change the date, or that the date has been changed, which now put it in direct conflict with Dana White and UFC Noche. I've already talked about this. The videos are up. Once my videos are posted, you can't do anything to change the edit. So go watch those videos on the channel. Additionally, Turkey's original plan to bring the bout to Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas is off. Oh my goodness. So now this article from Lance Pugmire, longtime boxing reporter, says the Vegas stadium where the Raiders play, the new home of the Raiders, is off, right? You guys see it. And again, I will put the link in the description so you guys can read it yourself if you don't believe what has been printed. Allegiant Stadium in Vegas is off. with one connected individual telling boxing scene that the bout will remain in the U.S. and not defect to Saudi Arabia, but New York and Texas are in play. Stay tuned to the end of the video so I could cook that too, because I'm the best in the business. I warned y'all. Additional clarification is expected by week's end, but this volatility is not the norm in the business of big-time boxing. Who else said that? Oh, that's right. Ego of boxing ego. I told you, this is a mockery. This is an abomination to have a fight that is allegedly a super fight. I don't even like the fight. So for me, you're already doing too much just in making the fight. I don't think this is Mayweather Pacquiao, Mayweather Conor McGregor, Mayweather De La Hoya, Canelo Triple G. I don't think it's a fight like that. Me personally, it's kind of a weird fight with the weight jumping. But nonetheless, you advertise it as, oh, it's the biggest fight. To have all these hiccups before the fight, I've already told you, these are huge red flags. Red flags, like, just think of staging a fight and a successful event as a relationship, right? You know, I'm the best in the business and it's not even close. So I'm also the king of analogies. I'll give you an analogy. So let's say you start a relationship and you've been dating this girl, you went on one date and she shows you a side of her that is completely crazy, right? She does something throughout the course of the date that shows that she has a crazy temper or she's wild, possessive, and jealous. Those are early red flags. And I've had it. Like, I've had girls where they were like super clingy, like for no reason, you know what I mean? And it looked like they had some issues, right? So I nipped that in the bud, because if you're seeing the warning signs so early, usually it doesn't get better, right? If you're seeing these early signs that the chick is crazy, or for females, if you are a woman and you're dating a dude and he's not emotionally mature or whatever, and you see that early on, wait till you get when he's comfortable and the honeymoon stage is over and you've been dating for a year or two. Then the mask could slip, and now since the honeymoon stage is over, you see how that person really is. So for a fight, it's the same way. Canelo Crawford being billed as a super fight, it's a few months away, and we went from the promoters changing. They announced the date. Now they're saying the dates are changing. They're saying the venue is no longer the venue that they announced, is no longer happening at Allegiant Stadium, and now it might not happen in the same state of Nevada. This, to me, is so dumb because it is so clearly a Vegas fight. This is a Vegas fight. Some fights you could put wherever, right? Like Canelo, Billy Joe Saunders, put that in Texas, right? Cool. Some fights just have the Vegas feel. And this was like an easy alley-oop. Really, Turkey, I told y'all, he should have paid me. I don't make this many mistakes, right? He should have paid me. I'm a better planner than this, you know what I mean? And it just looks really rookie and inexperienced to have a big fight. This is really an easy fight to promote, if I'm being honest. Terrence Crawford is a name. He doesn't have the biggest viewership stats on pay-per-view, but he's a great fighter. Canelo's a great fighter, and they're both respected. And you have a black fighter and a Mexican fighter, and that pairing has always had and produced great fights in boxing. Floyd and Canelo, Floyd, Oscar De La Hoya, right? Fights with Pernell Whitaker, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., Roger Mayweather, and Chavez Sr. You know what I mean? I think I said Chavez Jr., but y'all know I meant Chavez Sr. Mildred Taylor, Chavez, you know what I mean? Like, it's just a working, winning formula. So it's really kind of an easy fight to promote. So they really don't seem to have all their stuff in order. So that's what this article is saying. Additionally, clarification is expected by week's end, but this volatility is not the norm in the business of big time boxing, especially for this kind of colossal bout with Canelo and Crawford, which again, of course I agree, because I said it before this article even came out. Although Turkey owns an 8th stake in boxing stream DAZN, he had the Ring report that the fight will be shown on pay-per-view and not Netflix without further explanation. Again, at first they were popping that Netflix stuff. Now it doesn't look like Netflix is interested. Netflix was originally reported to be in play for the super middleweight title bout after generating money with Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. So basically Canelo was going to fight Jake Paul. I told you Canelo pulled the plug on it and did this 4-fight deal with the Saudis. And now this is what he gets, right? So you should have just fought Jake Paul. It would have been a big event. Definitely Jake Paul skillfully, is not a Terrence Crawford level where you have a smaller guy in Terrence Crawford. If he beats Canelo, that's going to be very embarrassing. And if anybody can move up in weight and has willpower and the willingness to win and skill, it would be a guy like Crawford. He really tries. He's in shape. He takes care of his body. He's in condition. Well-conditioned athlete. So he's a true professional. So you might as well have fought Jake Paul, which is what I said from the beginning. And I love my job because when I say these things, I don't know if people think I'm joking or I'm just emotionally saying things. I don't even operate like that. I'm not an emotional person like that. So when I said Canelo should have fought Jake Paul, it would have been better than the skull fight. Some people said, oh, how could you say that? Canelo fights real fighters. Canelo wants to fight a real boxer. Right? All right. He fought Skull and everybody hated the fight. And it didn't enhance Canelo's brand nor William Skull. So yeah, I stand by what I said from the beginning. Canelo, Jake Paul, you would have been situated in Vegas. It wouldn't have been all these date movements and location switches. It would have made a lot of money and it would have been on Netflix. Now it doesn't sound like Netflix is too interested in putting Canelo Crawford on their platform under pay-per-view. And I already read from Netflix, one of their execs put out a statement basically. And what they said was they have a business model and they're not really interested in doing a bunch of pay-per-views. Like, I think Netflix is more interested in subs. They want subscriptions. And they like what they did with Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. A whole bunch of people watched and ordered and bought Netflix if they didn't have it and probably still kept it. You know what I mean? Once they got to see the catalog. That's what they're after. They're not some of these other companies where they're trying to make a whole bunch of money on one-off pay-per-view fights. And Canelo Crawford, I don't think it's as big as some people are making it out to be, right? And if you're negotiating with a Netflix, for example, right? You have to, these people weren't born last night. So you would have to be able to convince them that this will do strong numbers. And then when you pull it up and look at all of Crawford's pay-per-views, like his last fight, you have nothing to show them. You can't say, oh, like this is not Gervonta Davis and a star like Canelo or Jake Paul, who has a built-in audience, and then a legend like Mike Tyson, right? So Crawford, great fighter, but I've said from the beginning, bad business bud, decisions he's made. Therefore, he hasn't been the biggest star, where outside of Nebraska, he's not really selling and cooking, right? You know, you're not doing these crazy colossal numbers, right? Where you could put a Gervonta Davis, you could put him in New York where he's not from, and he's almost breaking the Rolling Stones record. Terrence Crawford, when he fought Amir Khan in New York, he not breaking no records or nothing, right? He's winning, but we're not talking about it. We're just talking about the business. So I would imagine Netflix being in the business, they would want something that like shows the success, the prior success. Canelo's numbers are dwindling down too. If he doesn't fight a good opponent, Canelo's numbers have probably been trash, right? People didn't really want to see him fight Munguia, didn't really want to see him fight Berlanga. And then you look at the John Ryder fights and William Skull, guys like that, those are Avni Yildirim. All those pay-per-views were probably terrible numbers. So when you go to the boardroom and try to argue your case for Canelo Crawford to be on Netflix, who I've already told you, per Netflix, they're not even really interested in doing pay-per-view like that, right? And then if we're talking about putting it for free like Jake Paul and Mike Tyson, Netflix probably is not interested because it's not Canelo and Bud. They don't have like deep beef history, right? You know what I mean? It's not going to hit like a Jake Paul and Mike Tyson type of fight. I really believe that. Okay, so I'll keep going. It says, quote, "Who knows what they're doing?" One veteran boxing insider who spoke on the condition of anonymity because it's not their show told Boxing Scene. So basically, there's probably Eddie Hearn or somebody, I'm just guessing, but somebody spoke to Boxing Scene and they're basically saying, I'm not in charge, so I don't know really what's going on. Another said, the disruption is not surprising considering all the egos involved. No pun intended, ego, right? Yet the bout's compelling nature provides a wealth of opportunities to recalibrate and succeed. This sounds like wishful thinking, right? So I'm gonna skip past that. On the broadcast side, pay attention. One productive adjustment would be distribute the bout again on the nation's linear cable systems after making the May 2nd headline card by Ryan Garcia and May 3rd Alvarez fight in Saudi Arabia DAZN exclusives. Riches and missed buys were lost by doing so. So basically all this other stuff Turkey doing is you're losing money. Free show in Times Square with a limited crowd of 400 people that have invites only, trash, right? You should have just put it in the venue, got a live gate, made some money from it, or tried to. They lost money again, just like Crawford Madrimov. Alvarez Crawford could be streamed without subscription by pay-per-view.com, right? So if you could get it from pay-per-view.com, why would you order it from DAZN, which I believe requires you to subscribe to DAZN? Then you have to buy the pay-per-view. You know, these could be separate charges. And even if they give you some kind of free 7-day trial, if you don't cancel it, you'll start getting reoccurring DAZN payments. DAZN is very sneaky like that, with like kind of hidden fees, and you have to pay attention. So yeah, you could think, oh, I just want to see Ryan Garcia versus Rolly, and you thought you just bought that because the other might have been on a 7-day trial or 14-day trial, but then you're going to see on your bill the next month, hey, what's this charge from DAZN? Oh, that's the subscription fee that they hitched on. You know what I mean? Turkey told Ring, quote, "We have confirmed the promoter for Canelo versus Crawford will be Sella for Riyadh season." And I've already made a video about that. "But the company is not a licensed boxing promoter in the United States of America." Oh my gosh. These people are so rookie, bro. You have all this money, but then, and you told Ring that Sella is, which is like a Saudi entertainment entity business, but then they don't have a promoter's license in America, according to a regulator, and will either need to have an application approved between now and the fight night or turn to another licensed promoter. I mean, come on, bro. Like, this is terrible. Canelo Crawford, this looks so bogus and bunk. Come on, bro. Turkey keep feeding the information off the Ring. They run and post it, and it's like basically the whole fight's being negotiated in real time in front of the public. and they don't have everything together. So everybody gets to peek under the hood and see how disorganized this is. This is horrible for boxing. I'm always going to speak up for stuff like this because this is definitely terrible for boxing. I mean, come on, be real. You announce Sella, a Saudi Arabian company, and they don't have a U.S. promoter license. Like, really? Like, this just seems like the basic step. And then you have people like Eddie Hearn, who does have a promoter's license in the UK and the USA that you've utilized before. Why don't you just give him the fight, right? He has a working relationship with Canelo. He's played darts with Crawford. It's like there's something deeper at play, right? First, you said it was Dana White on top of everything else. And instead of using these people to get this off, it seems to be some kind of obstacles. That promoter will not be Matchroom's Eddie Hearn, one close individual said to the situation. Well, I don't know why. I just read that right now. See, I didn't proofread this, so this video is a freestyle. I just said, so I don't know, get Lou DiBella or somebody. Turkey won't need to look far for alternate promoter to Dana White, and White associate Tom Loeffler of 360 Promotions are going to be working together on a new Turkey White fight promotion in Vegas known as TKO. So maybe Tom Loeffler does it. I don't know. Loeffler has promoted heavyweights Vladimir and Vitaly Klitschko. Golovkin declined to discuss his potential Alvarez Crawford involvement in a brief Sunday conversation. As for the bout's new location, an individual involved in the task said it'd be inaccurate to label Las Vegas's T-Mobile Arena as the front runner to land the fight. So this might not even be in Vegas, people. Canelo Alvarez is adverse to fighting in California due to prohibitive taxes. So another official said that venues in Texas and New York are under consideration. Quote, they're still waiting, said a representative of one fight camp, assuring everything will work out. Bro, I'm not saying everything won't work out and the fight is canceled or anything. However, this looks dumb and it looks very, very disorganized and very rookie. I mean, imagine being Canelo and you were working with Al Heyman and PBC. They seemed to put your fights on fine. No one had any issues that I seen ordering off of Amazon Prime, right? Nobody had any issues with the broadcast, like quality or the stream going out or being double charged. I didn't see none of these types of issues. Yet Canelo Alvarez jumped ship to try to go where I guess the money was, and he's clearly defined by money at this point of his career. And you went with the Saudis and they don't have their stuff together, at least with this, because it looks disorganized. And it's kind of been this way, especially in America, right? In Saudi, those events, I don't know. I mean, the crowd's not loud. It doesn't feel like a fight crowd, and then they put the Better Be of Beeville in a smaller venue. So they have their own obstacles, but at least those seem to have less hiccups, so to speak, in terms of before the fight. This just sounds absurd. No U.S. promoter, switching the day, switching the location. Why did you announce any of these things if you really weren't ready to announce? I've always been on that. I've always said that on my channel. I have never once ever seen PBC do this. Never have I seen PBC say Errol Spence is fighting Terrence Crawford, and then it's this freak show of the venue we told you it was going to be at changed, the date changed, the location. At best, the only time I've seen these events change is if somebody pulls out, fails a drug test, or is injured or something. But not because we put out a bunch of information before it was time to put out. So I'm just going to keep saying the same thing because that's all there is to say. Ring, they were known as the Bible of boxing. No one can really subscribe to this. No one can really relate to this, right? This is looking blasphemous. This ain't no Bible. If this is the Bible, then I'm atheist, because you keep putting out information like Turkey. It's like his ego, or he wants to be in the limelight so bad. I don't know, dude. But something is up where you keep feeding the information you want to Ring to put out. They're doing it because they're subservient, and they're putting out the information. And then come to find out, you look crazy for putting out the information, because apparently it doesn't sound like everything is on the up and up, you know? And I've already talked about this in a past video, right? Turkey, I guess, likes to toy with the fans and media and put out fake information, or at least that's what he claimed previously. He said he put out bad information on purpose. Again, if this is the case here, where everything is still going on in Allegiant Stadium, the date never changed, and he's just doing this for hype, I mean, it's gonna look extremely sad. You're gonna look no different than like a TikToker and people who do those crude pranks and do any type of things for views. That's gonna look, to be honest, if this report from Pugmire isn't true, right? All these things aren't true, and this is somehow just disinformation being put out to manipulate the public, to try to drive excitement. I mean, that's just corny, as lame as corny, and you're playing with people's money. And people will grow to resent you because, again, we are boxing fans. Boxing fans need to make accommodations. Babysitters, travel, vacation, call your boys up. Because, you know what I mean? That's how boxing should be fun, right? Boxing should be fun. So you want to get some friends together. And if you keep toying around with the dates, that's not going to work for people. You know what I mean? You can't, like, imagine if you hit your boys up and say, hey, Terrence Crawford and Canelo, they about to fight in Vegas on Friday, right? September 12th, and you get hyped and your friends are down. They request the time off from work. Cool. And then you read, oh, it's going to be in Texas now. And it's going to be on a different date. It's a whole different conversation. You might live in LA. So you're like, yeah, let's push to Vegas. That's 3-4 hours, right? If you live in SoCal or that Bakersfield type of region, you know what I mean? You could get there, but that don't mean you're going to go to Texas. So if this for some reason is not true, they're going to look very bad as well. But for me, I can't respect it. I can't respect it because I said from the beginning, I've never seen, when Canelo, all the fights he did with PBC, this never happened. Berlanga, Munguia, Caleb Plant, Jermell Charlo. I never once did any of those fights have these type of problems where they kept changing the dates, playing with the dates, needed a promoter. This makes you look really, really amateur, like you don't know what you're doing, right? And it's funny because I tell you I'm the best in the business and it's not even close, and I voice my complaints. And when I do it, a lot of people, they understand where I'm coming from. They know that I'm really about this boxing and I'm uplifting the sport of boxing, no more, no less, right? So the things I say, it's because of that, right? I'm just going to keep it real. You got to admit I was right. This is looking like a show, and really for no reason. Really for no reason. How hard is it to make a Canelo Crawford fight? You already had people. I told you from the beginning, it don't matter to me because I never even really wanted to see this fight like that, right? But there are fans who did. And I'm like, fine, cool. If the public wants to see it, cool. But to have a fight of this alleged magnitude and then handle it so juvenile and like this is your first rodeo, that's a bad look. And if you keep playing games and keep making changes, how many people that maybe would have bought the fight are now going to stream the fight. You know what I mean? Like, man, I'm not keeping up with this. You know, it reminds me of Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia played so many games in the Devin Haney buildup to the point people thought he was crazy. He was on something. He wasn't training, blah, blah, blah. Right. So they did all this. And then the Haniacs and the Haniac content creators, they told you this was going to enhance and make the fight more sellable. While your boy Ego said the opposite. I'm like, Ryan's hurting the fight by doing all this extra stuff because this is not making me want to see the fight at all as a diehard boxing fan who wanted to see the fight. You know what I mean? So the numbers for that fight per De La Hoya were not good. They were not good at all. Right? And I think Ryan and how the promo for that fight turned some people off, doing all that radical stuff and looking like you weren't taking it serious. So what's the difference here? Now, Canelo's not acting insane like Ryan, neither is Terrence Crawford. However, it looks disorganized and messy, and it looks unstable and unreliable. Like, really ask yourself this question. This fight is looking before, like we're talking about months before the fight, is already looking shambolic. Would you feel comfortable buying tickets to Crawford Canelo in Vegas with the information that I just went over? Like, you feel comfortable booking a hotel, booking a flight with this level of uncertainty that has been reported? Talking about we don't have a promoter with the U.S. license. We changed the date and shifted it from September 12th to 13th. We lied and said Dana White was doing it. Now it conflicts with Dana White's UFC Noches in Mexico. So doesn't look like Dana White is going to be involved. We said Netflix. Now we're saying Sella Riyadh pay-per-view. You know what I mean? It's just, this is too much. And I think what I've noticed about people and consumers, right? The harder you make things for people, the less likely they are to do it, right? Like, let's say you're outside of a Walmart and you're selling Girl Scout cookies with your daughter or something, right? You have to have a way of selling the cookies and processing the people's payment, right? If you say, hey, mister, you want some Girl Scout cookies? And they say, yeah, give me 5 boxes of Thin Mints. All I got is $100. You had better have change or accept Cash App or Venmo or Zelle or have a Square device, a point of sale device. If you do not have that and you make it inconvenient, like, oh, I can't give you your proper change, or, oh, we don't have a card reader to process your payment. The more inconvenient you make it, then the less likely people are to be invested and or do what you want. Period. That's a simple mathematical, like almost like a rule when it comes to business. The easier you make things for people, they'll generally yield better results. If you want somebody to tip you and there's no option on the tip, they're not going to tip you. But if it says, hey, tip 22%, 18%, 25% by pressing this button, maybe you'll get the tip. You know what I mean? You got to make things convenient. This Canelo Crawford fight already sounds disastrous, shambolic, right? Nothing about it is running smooth. The only thing is the face-off, and even that didn't run smooth to me because it was out of place given how Canelo looked. Canelo looked so bad with William Skull, it didn't put anybody in the mood to even want to see a face-off. So I'm telling you guys, this has been off to a rocky start. And I tell you all the time, people who watch my channel, I'm the best in the business, and it's not even close. My reads be so elite ego, And I don't like when things are off to such a rocky start, because how is it going to improve? How are you going to pull the plane up, right? When you got all this stuff going on, you got date switching and promoter switching. This is going to be an embarrassment. I really believe that. This is going to be an embarrassment. And even before any of this, just the fact of the fight, no one even really wanted to see the fight. It always seemed like kind of a pipe dream because of the weight disparity. So the fact that you're having to do all this extra stuff to get this fight, this ain't Mayweather versus Pacquiao or a Mayweather McGregor huge colossal event, or even Canelo Jake Paul. Terrence Crawford does not have the same size base and attention with the public as a Jake Paul. So the Canelo Jake Paul was an easy lick. That would have been an easy fight. Vegas, in America, where Canelo's been popping and made most of his money since age 18. And Jake Paul, he's a great salesperson. He knows how to promote. He has a fan base that pay to see him lose or win or whatever. And boom. And it was going to be on Netflix. Don't sound like Netflix is too much interested in this particular fight. So that tells you what you need to know. How did it go? How did we go from Canelo Crawford on Netflix and Allegiant Stadium, the newest venue in Vegas, to now it's not going to be in Vegas necessarily, but it's not going to be in Allegiant Stadium. That's dead, right? And now it's not going to be on Netflix, right? The fight will be shown live on pay-per-view and not Netflix. Man, oh man. So this is just a disaster waiting to happen, because here's another thing. Riyadh pay-per-view. What other pay-per-views did they do? And I know it sounds easy. Oh, we got money, so let's just, it don't work like that. That, like, a live production is hard. It is very hard. I've seen it. I've been at the fights. I've seen the gaffers and the camera crew. You got to have certain angles. What if one of the cameras go out? What if I've seen it all. I've seen big shows to small shows. I've seen it all in boxing. Put it that way, right? The sound is not loud enough. Is something was wrong, or someone didn't press the right button. You know what I mean? All types of stuff like that. It's not easy to run your own show and run your own pay-per-view. And then, and the reason I got to stress this stuff so much is because when Turkey do these events, if they don't come off right, like Ryan and Roley, Devin and Ramirez card, that Times Square card, this is what get people talking in a negative way. And they're like, oh, boxing sucks. This is why UFC is better and all that type of stuff. I don't like hearing that. I really don't want to hear that. And it's not true. But if boxing looks pathetic or makes the wrong moves, and you get a gathering of people and then it's some bullshit, like the stream is going out, or it looks unprofessional, or they switching the date, all this stuff makes us look bad as a boxing populace. So hopefully Turkey and the powers that be get this together. I didn't even want to see this fight, but y'all said y'all did. Get it together. Stop negotiating through the public. We don't care. We just care about the end result. Is it September 12th or 13th? Is it at Allegiant Stadium or not? Is Dana White the promoter or not? Is it going to be in Vegas or not? Is it for a belt or not? Like, simple things. And if you do not have all of the intel or all of the data or the information, or you don't have your T's crossed and your I's dotted, you need not tell us as boxing fans. The moment you do, you get held to a standard. And if you can't make good on that, then you look crazy. You literally had people saying that, oh, this is going to break all sorts of records at Allegiant Stadium. Now they're saying we don't even know what stadium the fight is going to be at. We're still working on it. Canelo don't want California. Listen, I got more to say. If y'all want me to say it, type part 2. Type part 2. If enough of you guys type part 2, leave other comments too. You don't have to just put part 2. Leave your regular comments that you were going to leave on the video anyway. But if you type part 2, that'll notify me that you guys want a part 2 of this, and I'll keep cooking because I got a whole lot more to say. But for now, this looks bad. I stated my case and let you know why. We unpacked. Live streaming can be tough, which is why I use StreamYard. Click the link in the description for StreamYard, which is an awesome tool that enables you to set up your stream with ease of use. Get great results with live streaming. It's what I use. Stream to social media with ease with StreamYard. Live streaming is here to stay. Engage with your audience using StreamYard. Great way to reach out to your audience and connect. So you need a tool that can do that. If you're new to YouTube and you're struggling to get views, one tool I can provide to you is TubeBuddy. I've been on YouTube over 10 years. I use TubeBuddy daily to crank out videos just like this one that you're watching. Learn how the pros do it with TubeBuddy. YouTube receives a lot of traffic, which also means a lot of creators, a lot of people putting out content. So you need to learn the ropes so you know how to separate yourself, especially if you're new. But even if you're a pro, use TubeBuddy. The link is in the description. Get more views, more subscribers, and a higher click-through rate. So ultimately you can realize all of your online goals. Use my affiliate link in the description and grow your channel fast.